Have you ever been told your blood work is slightly off, but your doctor didn't seem too worried, so you weren't either? Because here's the truth, most people never hear until it's too late. Your kidneys can be failing quietly for years, without pain, without warning, without a single symptom you'd recognize. I'm Dr. Johnny, and every week I see patients who say the same thing: I felt fine, until I didn't. By the time fatigue shows up, by the time swelling appears, by the time creatinine finally sets off alarms, the damage didn't just happen, it's been building silently day after day. Right now, millions of Americans are unknowingly pushing their kidneys harder than they can handle. Ultra-processed foods, excess sugar, hidden sodium, all of it drives creatinine and uric acid higher, forcing your kidneys to filter toxins faster than they were ever designed to. And the most dangerous part, you won't feel it happening. But here's where this gets interesting and hopeful. In 2024, researchers uncovered something unexpected. 3 simple dried fruits sitting on grocery store shelves across America were shown to significantly reduce kidney stress markers when used the right way. Not supplements, not medications, not extreme detoxes, just ordinary foods with extraordinary effects when timing and preparation are done correctly. And if you stay with me, I'll show you what they are, why they work, and the critical mistake that causes most people to lose half the benefits without realizing it. Because protecting your kidneys isn't about doing something drastic. It's about making one quiet decision today before your body's forced to make a loud one later. Let's start with something deceptively simple: prunes. You've probably walked past them in the grocery aisle countless times, dismissing them as old-fashioned or just another dried fruit. But what if I told you these wrinkly little plums could be one of the most powerful tools for protecting your kidneys, silently working behind the scenes, while most people rely on caffeine, sugar, or supplements that do very little? I remember a patient, Linda, from Phoenix. She came in worried about her slightly elevated creatinine and uric acid levels. She wasn't overweight, didn't have diabetes, and exercised moderately. She told me, "I feel fine. I don't understand why my numbers are creeping up." When we looked closer, her diet was mostly processed foods, and she rarely included any whole fruits, let alone something like prunes. After just a few weeks of carefully incorporating them, paired with proper hydration, her kidney markers started to improve. Science backs this up. A 2024 study published in Frontiers in Nutrition used Mendelian randomization, a method that goes beyond correlation, to show cause and effect, analyzing thousands of European participants. The researchers found that people who regularly consume prunes had significantly lower blood, urea, nitrogen, creatinine, uric acid, and cystatin C levels. These are exactly the 4 markers doctors monitor to assess how well your kidneys are filtering toxins. What makes prunes so effective? It's not magic. They contain polyphenols and resveratrol compounds that act like tiny bodyguards for your nephron units, the microscopic filters inside your kidneys that take the brunt of toxic load. Resveratrol reduces oxidative stress, slowing down the cellular wear and tear that leads to chronic kidney disease. Polyphenols help tamp down inflammation, allowing your kidneys to focus on their job, rather than fighting off internal attacks. Prunes also provide sorbitol and fiber, which promote diuresis. That's a fancy way of saying they help you urinate more efficiently, flushing toxins before they accumulate. The fiber also binds to waste in the gut, keeping it from entering the bloodstream and lightening the load for your kidneys. So how do you use prunes correctly? The trick is in preparation. Grab 5 to 10 prunes, about 50 to 100 grams, and soak them overnight in water. Soaking softens the fruit, makes digestion easier, and reduces the sorbitol punch that could cause stomach upset. Eat them in the morning, either straight with oatmeal or in yogurt. Hydration is key. Always wash them down with a glass of water to maximize their cleansing effect. And here's the catch: too many prunes at once can cause diarrhea. And if you have advanced chronic kidney disease, be mindful of their potassium content. Always consult your doctor if that applies to you. For most people, though, this simple, affordable habit can counter years of kidney stress caused by processed food and sugar-laden diets. Prunes aren't exotic. They're not expensive. And when used correctly, they provide a steady, reliable support system for your kidneys. But knowing just about prunes isn't the whole story. There are 2 more dried fruits that work differently, even more surprising, and most people completely overlook them. Now, if prunes help your kidneys by protecting the filters themselves, This next food works in a completely different way, and this is where most people get blindsided. Because kidney stress doesn't always start in the kidneys. Very often it starts much earlier, in the gut. I see this all the time in clinic. Patients focus on salt, protein, and water, but no one is paying attention to what's happening in their digestive system. And here's the problem: when your gut lining becomes inflamed from sugar, ultra-processed foods, and artificial sweeteners, toxins don't stay contained. They leak into the bloodstream, and once they're there, your kidneys are forced to filter every single drop of that mess. That's where raisins come in, and I know most people hear that and think, isn't that just sugar? That's exactly what one of my patients said. A 61-year-old man, desk job, decent labs except for creeping creatinine. He wasn't eating terribly, but he lived on packaged snacks and diet drinks. His gut was constantly irritated even though he didn't feel sick. When we addressed the gut side of the equation, his kidney markers finally stopped climbing. The science backs this up. A 2024 analysis published in Frontiers in Nutrition showed that people who regularly consumed dried fruits like raisins had significantly lower blood urea nitrogen, lower creatinine, and lower uric acid. These aren't vague wellness markers. These are the exact numbers doctors track to decide whether your kidneys are coping or starting to lose ground. Raisins are rich in resveratrol and tannins, compounds that reduce oxidative stress inside kidney cells. Think of oxidative stress like rust forming on metal. You don't notice it at first, but over time it weakens the entire structure. What makes raisins different, though, is how they calm inflammation in the gut. Less inflammation in the gut means fewer toxins entering the blood, and fewer toxins in the blood means your kidneys finally get a break. Here's the key most people miss. Raisins don't help by detoxing your kidneys directly. They help by stopping the toxic flood upstream. That's a massive shift in how people think about kidney health, and it's why small, consistent amounts, about a quarter cup with meals, make a difference while mindless snacking does not. If this is sounding uncomfortably familiar, pause for a second. Have you been focusing on your kidneys but ignoring your gut this whole time? If so, leave a comment. I read everyone, and you're not alone. But understanding the gut-kidney connection still isn't the full picture. Because even when inflammation drops and toxins slow down, there's another silent problem happening deeper inside the kidneys themselves at the cellular level. And that's where the next dried fruit becomes critical. Because it targets damage the first two don't even touch. If raisins ease the pressure by stopping toxins upstream, this next food goes even deeper, because sometimes the problem isn't how much waste your kidneys are filtering, it's what's already happening inside the kidney cells themselves. I want you to picture this for a moment. Even when inflammation drops and blood markers look okay, microscopic damage can still be quietly building inside the nephrons, the tiny filtration units that decide whether toxins leave your body or stay circulating. This is the stage where most people feel completely fine, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. I remember a patient in her late 50s. Labs weren't alarming, just borderline. Creatinine slightly elevated, nothing dramatic. She was told to watch it. But months later, the trend kept moving in the wrong direction. What we were seeing wasn't overload anymore. It was early cellular injury. And that's where dried apricots entered the conversation. Dried apricots are rich in a plant compound called apigenin. And this is where the science gets specific. Studies referenced in the 2024 Frontiers in Nutrition analysis show that apigenin helps reduce markers associated with renal cellular damage, the warning signals doctors worry about long before full kidney decline shows up on standard labs. In simple terms, it helps shield kidney cells from oxidative stress and chronic inflammation that slowly wears them down over years. This matters because kidney disease doesn't usually collapse all at once. It erodes, one cell at a time. Dried apricots also deliver a powerful dose of fiber-feeding, beneficial gut bacteria that release anti-inflammatory compounds into the bloodstream. Less inflammation is system-wide means less collateral damage to your kidneys day after day. On top of that, the vitamin A content supports immune function, something kidney patients often struggle with long before anyone connects the dots. But here's the part most people never hear. Dried apricots are not about eating more, they're about eating smarter. A small controlled amount paired correctly can support cellular protection. Overdo it or ignore hydration, and you risk creating a new problem entirely, especially if you're prone to kidney stones. So ask yourself this honestly, Have you been focused on lab numbers, while the real damage may be happening quietly underneath? Because knowing which foods protect kidney cells is powerful, but it still won't help if you're making the same everyday mistakes that cancel out the benefits entirely. And that brings us to the part almost no one talks about: the simple habits that cause people to lose half the progress they're trying so hard to make. Because understanding the right foods is only half the equation, and the next factor may be the most dangerous one yet. At this point, most people feel a sense of relief. They finally know what to eat, and that's usually when things quietly go wrong. Because I've seen it again and again. People choose the right foods, feel confident they're doing the right thing, and still watch their numbers refuse to improve. Not because the science failed, but because everyday habits quietly erase the benefits. Here's a real example. A patient told me I started eating dried fruits every day like you said. What he didn't mention at first was how. Straight from the bag, large handfuls, on an empty stomach, with barely any water. Within weeks, his blood sugar, spiked, digestion worsened, and his kidneys didn't get the relief we expected. Same foods, completely different outcome. The physiology explains why. Dried fruits are concentrated. When eaten without preparation or hydration, their natural sugars absorb too fast, driving glucose spikes that increase oxidative stress, one of the fastest ways to strain the glomeruli. Add dehydration and the kidneys are forced to filter thicker, more toxic blood. That's not support. That's added workload. Research consistently shows that hydration status and glycemic swings directly affect creatinine trends and uric acid clearance over time. There's another silent issue most people miss: preservatives. Sulfites are commonly used to keep dried fruits bright and shelf-stable, but in sensitive individuals, they trigger gut irritation and low-grade inflammation. And remember, when the gut is inflamed, the kidneys pay the price. That gut-kidney connection doesn't forgive shortcuts. This is why timing and context matter as much as the food itself. Eating these fruits alone, rushing through snacks, skipping water, or doubling up to make progress faster, these habits feel harmless. They're not. They're the reason people say, "I tried that and it didn't work." So if you've ever felt frustrated doing the right things without seeing results, pause here. Ask yourself, how are you actually using them day to day? Because knowing the foods is important. But without the right strategy, you're still leaving your kidneys exposed. And that leads to the final piece. The part that quietly determines whether these foods become real protection or just another failed attempt. Because once you fix this last factor, everything starts working together the way it was meant to. Once people understand the mistakes, the question I always hear next is simple. Okay, Dr. Johnny, so what does doing this the right way actually look like in real life? And this is where everything finally clicks, because protecting your kidneys doesn't require perfection, it requires rhythm. I want you to think about your kidneys like a water filter at home. You don't wait until it's completely clogged to change how you treat it. You reduce the load, you keep water flowing, and you support it consistently. That same principle applies here. When dried fruits are used strategically, not randomly, they stop being snacks and start becoming support. In clinical practice, the patients who see improvement aren't the ones who overhaul their entire diet overnight. They're the ones who build a repeatable pattern. Small portions, with meals, adequate hydration every single time. When fiber slows sugar absorption and water keeps blood viscosity low, kidney filtration becomes more efficient. Studies on glycemic control and hydration show that even modest reductions in post-meal glucose spikes and improved fluid balance can ease stress on the glomeruli and support more stable creatinine trends over time. This is also why spacing matters. When you spread support throughout the day, instead of stacking it all at once, you avoid overwhelming the system. The kidneys respond best to steady conditions, not surges. That's when inflammation stays lower, oxidative stress stays manageable, and the benefits of compounds like resveratrol and apigenin actually have time to do their job. If this feels almost too simple, that's because it is. And that's exactly why it works. Consistency beats intensity every time when it comes to kidney health. The people who succeed aren't chasing quick fixes. They're giving their kidneys fewer reasons to struggle day after day. But here's the part most people don't expect. Even when you eat the right foods, avoid the common mistakes, and follow the right rhythm, there's still one factor that can quietly undo everything if you ignore it. And it's the reason some people end up hearing the word dialysis while others don't. Because knowing how to support your kidneys is powerful, but what comes next may ultimately decide how much time they truly have left. Your kidneys are remarkable organs working silently every single day to filter your entire blood supply up to 40 times. They are the unsung heroes of your body, tirelessly protecting you from the toxins you don't even notice, quietly maintaining balance while you go about your life. And yet for most people, these incredible organs are taken completely for granted until a lab test reveals creeping creatinine rising, uric acid, or other subtle warning signs. The scary part is kidney stress rarely hurts in the early stages. It builds up silently over months and years, often unnoticed, until it becomes harder to reverse. That's why every small choice you make today has a bigger impact than you realize. After exploring the benefits of prunes, raisins, and dried apricots, and understanding how simple mistakes can cancel out their effects, it's clear that kidney health isn't about dramatic one-time solutions. It's about consistency, timing, and strategy. Eating the right foods is essential, but pairing them with proper hydration, spacing, and awareness of portion sizes turns ordinary habits into powerful tools that reduce stress on your kidneys and support their natural detoxifying functions. This is what separates temporary feel-good wellness hacks from genuine long-term kidney protection. I want to take a moment to speak directly to you. How often have you ignored minor warning signs because you felt fine? How often have you assumed that occasional processed snacks or a sugary drink wouldn't matter? It's easy to overlook the small daily choices that silently accumulate over time. But now that you have this knowledge, you can make informed decisions every single day to give your kidneys the support they need. You don't need perfection. You need persistence, mindfulness, and awareness. Small repeated actions are what truly protect your health, and they're within your control. Practical steps matter. Hydrate consistently, pair dried fruits with meals, and healthy fats. Avoid common pitfalls like overconsumption or skipping water, and pay attention to early signs of kidney stress, swelling in ankles, foamy urine, or unexplained fatigue. These are the signals your body is sending, and acknowledging them early allows you to take action before a small problem turns into a major concern. The more you tune into these signals, the more empowered you become to make choices that safeguard your well-being. And while science shows the protective effects of these dried fruits and lifestyle habits, there's an equally important element: staying informed. Kidney research evolves, guidelines update, and new strategies emerge every year. That's why I urge you to save this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to this channel. By doing so, you'll have immediate access to the latest research-backed tips and insights, keeping you ahead of the curve in protecting your kidneys and overall health. Being proactive with information is one of the most powerful ways to stay safe and prevent silent kidney stress from escalating. I also want to stress the emotional aspect. Caring for your kidneys is more than just numbers and lab results. It's about giving your body the chance to function optimally, to maintain energy, focus, and vitality for the things that matter most to you. Imagine waking up feeling lighter, having more energy, and knowing that the choices you make are genuinely helping your kidneys work more efficiently. That peace of mind is worth every small habit you adopt today. Remember, kidney health isn't a single event or a miraculous fix. It's a journey made up of informed decisions, repeated daily actions, and awareness of your body's signals. The changes might seem subtle at first, but over weeks and months, the cumulative effect is significant. Healthier kidney markers, less internal stress, and a stronger foundation for long-term health. Every small conscious action today, drinking water with your prunes, spacing your raisins, pairing apricots with healthy fats, is an investment in your future, giving your kidneys the resilience to protect you for years to come. So take this moment seriously. Commit to small, sustainable habits, stay consistent, and pay attention to your body. Your kidneys work silently for you every day. Now it's your turn to return the favor. And remember, you're not alone. Every step you take toward kidney health matters, and the knowledge you gain here can ripple out to your family, friends, and community. Stay proactive, stay informed, and stay consistent. Your kidneys will thank you not just today, but for the many years ahead. Share this video, subscribe to the channel, and bookmark it as a reference. Your future self will be grateful, and your body will continue to reward you with vitality, energy, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing you're protecting one of the most essential organs in your body.